I'm gonna
All
like
right.
forget.
So we have a few comments, and I think that is I got Pika's YouTube. So it's just exclamation Pika, and then you guys will see his YouTube. That's the only social media I got there. Hope that's okay for you, Pika.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's
Okay.
probably like that's where I put all the work. So
That's where you put.
Yeah.
Okay, perfect. So yeah, you guys should go give me a follow or a subscription. I think it's subscription, not follow. Yeah, that's
yeah,
how it works there. Okay, cool. I'm nervous.
No,
I'm,
you're
I'm
fine.
always nervous in like since I started doing my podcast. I feel like I don't know, like I'm about to do something out of the normal. But Pika, thank you so much for accepting this invitation. It was very nice that you said yes to join us today. And
Welcome, PK.
you told me, are you okay me calling you Pika?
yes, you can call me almost anything you want.
Okay, because this is basically how I met you. Like I don't know. I think you know each other, the two of you. Like Sander has met Pika, and of course, we know that Pika is your brother, right? Or cousin.
It's my brother from another mother.
Mother.
Hmm.
What's with me and doing mistakes? Yeah, he's your cousin, not your brother.
This is gonna become a thing, and I love it.
All right, so I don't know anything about Pika, so there was one thing I wanted to start with. Tell me, and that goes to Chief and to Sander. Tell me three things that you think fits Pika.
Why
Should I go
think
first
it
or last?
PK? You go last. You
You
go
go
last.
last.
I'll go first.
Let's
I'll
go with
first.
Chief. I mean, he's your family.
Three things that fit.
Yeah.
Okay, so one I'll
Describe him
say
in 3 words, basically.
in 3 words.
Yeah.
Creative.
Mm-hmm.
All right. He's creative. All right. What's that word? Okay, I can't think of the word now. So he's creative. He's he. Okay, we'll go that way. He's strong. When I say he's strong, I'm not talking about physically. I'm talking about he's mentally strong and able to overcome a lot of adversities.
Oh.
And I'd say as well, you can be ambitious as well with things that you do.
Ambitious.
Yeah, in saying that, like when he made his music video with Karim, that was quite ambitious to go with such a like quite. It costed quite a bit, and it was very, to me, I really liked it. So yeah,
Okay. So, what about you, Sander? 3.
Three words.
Yeah.
Very sexy singer.
it's not
That's two
wrong.
ways to answer that. Fuck yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So, I've never really met you like Pika, but I met you through like gaming, and we've been playing a couple of games together, I believe.
PUBG.
PUBG and Ring of Elysium and all that. So I have like a different perspective of you because I mean through Discord it's like you can't really say or notice much, but these are the 3 stuff that I've been thinking that describes you, and you were actually the times we were playing. I thought you were quiet, very
He just
introvert.
didn't have a good microphone back then.
No, he had a microphone, but he was quiet, very chill. And I thought he was very intro. That's what I thought. But I don't know if it was just because he was so focused on just wanting to win the game. But like my perspective of Pika when we play games was like oh, he's chill. He doesn't say much. He's quiet. Oh, so maybe he's an introvert. I was like, okay, maybe I will not bother him much because every time I'm on Discord, I just talk to everyone and I ask questions. I ask a lot of questions. I like asking questions. I like bombing people out with questions. So I thought I was like, okay, maybe I shouldn't ask anything and just let Pika be Pika and just play the games. But now hearing Chief, Chief knows you for how long? You guys know each other for
Like our whole lives.
All of my life.
your whole life. Okay.
Yeah. Well, I'm not surprised at all that I got those. Except maybe Xander. That was a really good, very sexy. But I definitely am all of those things. I mean, there's something recently that I heard of. Is like a term called like an introverted extrovert or an extroverted introvert. Like there's different ways that you can recharge around people. If I'm with someone that I'm very, very comfortable with, it's much easier to sort of just be that crazy person. But if you don't want to step on too many toes when you're first meeting someone, or if you're at a party, you could still be that person, but you need to recharge every now and then, get some quiet time. So yeah,
100%.
if I had to give myself like 3 words, I'd say I'm a little bit bipolar, because I've got those 2 sides to me.
Okay.
It's not diagnosed or anything.
No,
but
no.
like I can
You're
be
diagnosing yourself.
up here, or I'm either up here or down here.
Yeah.
I can never like have like a chill
Yeah.
sort of. I'm not like that. I'm either here or here.
That's cool. I
Yeah.
like that.
And gaming was like recharging. I was like recharging my, like I'd have a big day of work or whatever, and then just gaming with the peeps. It was like a really good safe space that I had with you guys. I'm pretty ambitious too with what I want to do with my music. And I always need to be moving forward, so that's probably where the ambition comes from. Can't come up with a third
So
one.
basically, when you were sitting on Discord playing games, that was you recharging. That was kind of you just setting it back, chilling, and just playing the game. That's it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was a great community. I don't think I need to talk about how great it was to be with the group that we had. It's probably one like unlike any other.
Yeah. It was.
Very
It
nice.
was. I mean, I always had a big interest on you. Like, I can be honest, because you were so quiet, and the fact that you were so quiet intrigued me. And then I was just like, I need to get to know, ask more, get to know. But you never really let me like further. Like, it was just like, hey Pika, how are you? Good. And that's just and it was just like, oh, I want to know more. But I was like, at the end, I was like, okay, maybe I should just let it be, chill, and just play the game, and that's it.
I had no idea. No.
No, but
Nah.
that's totally fine. Yeah. So about the relationship between you and your cousin, Chief. Like, you guys said you know each other like your whole life, basically. So
So,
are you guys like because I mean in our cultures, like Latinos and like your culture as well, like you call cousin like even people that are like far related, but are you like first cousins? Like, you're not like a third or second cousin, like, no.
We're first cousins.
Actual cousin. I don't really call, unless cousin's different, but for me to say you're my cousin, there's only we've got a lot of cousins, first cousins, and
Yeah.
I think your mum and my dad were 2 children out of 6, so you can, and all of them are here in Australia, so you can imagine how big that family is.
No, I had
of
3
cousins.
kids, except for me.
Okay.
My mom stopped that too.
Big barbecues every Easter.
Big barbecues.
For a while.
Oh. Okay. So since Chief is the one that's been longest around your life. So, what was your first? When do you remember seeing Pika playing music? Like, was he young? Was he like a kid? Or-
PK.
yeah.
I remember PK at a young age learning the piano.
Okay.
Because he had a piano at his house, and he'll come and like if I come over and he's like we're hanging out, he'll just like randomly jump on and start playing. So I remember that, and it's always good. You and your whole family can play the bloody thing. I can't
Yeah.
play one single instrument. I mean, I used to learn. I tried to learn the piano. I got as far as Happy Birthday, and that's about it. I tried learning the guitar. I learned 3 strings, and then I forgot everything because that was just about it. And then I tried learning the violin. That one was the only one that I got decent at because of school with Mrs. Ibrahim. I think PK might remember. Yeah, and we used to always just make fun of the way she was teaching. She goes, "Now put your hand on the G string. Now pluck." All the boys would just start laughing. The girls just didn't understand because we're just dirty-minded.
So you guys went to go
Um,
to the same school, pretty much.
We did
Yeah.
actually, yeah.
Okay.
But as far as like things that I learned from instruments, violin was the best. But I've forgotten everything. From what I remember, PK it was piano, and he knows a few other instruments, even the guitar, ukulele, even. So, yeah.
Yeah. Which instruments do you play, Pika?
Well, it's like Chief said, piano, guitar mainly, and I at times picked up the ukulele, but I never got very good at it. I'd learn like 5, 6 chords.
Mm.
Like everyone in Australia had to learn the recorder, so I'm not even gonna count that. But I like drumming as well, like percussion
Oh,
instruments, not a
drumming.
drum set.
Okay.
I can. It's embarrassing when I try play the drums, but drum machines. So basically, like production.
Mhm.
That'd be probably where I've all those skills. Like I'm not trying to get better at the guitar or the piano at the moment. I'm trying to get better at production. I feel like that's a skill set I should improve to really take the career further in a meaningful way.
So which instrument would you say is the one that you have the best connection with from all those that you play?
I'd say piano.
Oh, piano.
It definitely has to be the piano because, like, I'm not crazy good at it. Like, I can't play amazing classical songs from beginning to end. But when I perform with the piano, because I like to sing as well when I perform.
Yeah.
I never really got that good with the guitar, performing wise. But with the piano, I can definitely do much more. And with especially when there's a pedal, and if it's a good piano, it just sounds much better.
Okay, so hearing a little bit of like, you come already from a background of musicians, like your parents play music. They were the ones kind of giving it to you, or
No.
No.
They at very my brothers. So I picked it up first. Peter as well, and Philip likes to sing. Like if you're in a house with someone that's singing all the time, you're gonna start singing too. You can't not. So it's me and my siblings, my 2 younger brothers, musically inclined, I'm sure. But my parents, there was never any musical influence from them.
okay. So what first got you into music then?
Yeah, well, the story is that my dad found some like a broken piano on the side of the road,
No way.
and he brought it into the house. It wasn't a piano. It was like a toy with keys, like no black keys, just that.
What?
And then it had pre-made sounds in it, like happy birthday, and I think if I had to guess how old I was, like under 10. I'm not exactly sure when, but it was like 3 houses ago. That's how I remember how long ago it was.
Yeah.
And I picked it up, like the pre-made sound, the pre-made song in there, I could play it back, and then my parents were like, maybe you should put him in some sort of piano lessons
Yeah.
in school, and I did that for I think 1 or 2 years, and then since then till now, nothing. It's just been finding other musicians and hanging out with them.
Okay. So, what basically inspired you to get into music was that piano?
Yeah, that was the when you're really young, these little
Yeah.
pivotal moments can change everything. It's so even when I was really young, I got into a fight at school,
Yeah.
and then my dad was like, if you're gonna fight, at least learn how to fight properly. He wanted to give me some discipline or something.
Yeah.
So he enrolled me in karate, and I was about 12 years old. And since then, again, like there's been like a massive gap where I wouldn't be in any proper classes, but I've always been known as that kid that likes martial arts and music. And it's just from those when you're young, like those things that happen to you, they'll it might seem like really small, like a 1 degree shift in your direction, but later on you'll end up in a completely different place.
Do you still
because of that
practice
stuff.
the sport or?
So about 3-4 months ago, like before all the coronavirus stuff happened, I was looking for a new Brazilian jiu-jitsu gym, but I've put it off. But it's been on and off, I've competed in competitions,
Yeah.
and that's always been fun.
Okay.
Good physical hobby to have.
So you like doing sports, basically.
Yeah, but my favorite sport is the combat sports.
The
Like
combat
every other sport, it doesn't feel real to me. Like I really like that competitive. That's like I'm a competitive person, and I feel like when it comes to martial arts, it's the best competitive sport. It's the best way to release. Otherwise, I'll be competitive in ways that it doesn't really matter. Like I'll compare myself to my other musical peers, or see if it's not nice. It's good to be competitive in martial arts, because it helps you when you're competitive there.
Okay,
I
so
don't know
you're
if I rambled on for
competitive.
too long. Yeah.
Okay, cool. So the way we do it, PK, also like the way I've been creating my podcast is around the Twitch chat. So like I told you, there will be questions that they will be putting out there, which I'm gonna check right now and see if we got any of those questions. And you feel free, if you don't want to answer, you say like next, and if you want, like, we go for it.
Sweet.
Okay, we already have that one covered. How did you get into music? That was my question. What was the first instrument you learned? We already got that. What are some challenges you faced when learning music?
So, I think learning music is like learning anything. Like, there's obviously a learning curve, but a lot of it would stem from like identity. So, do I want to learn rock music, or do I want to learn, the jazz stuff because everyone's doing that, or sometimes you're trying to learn this, like learn a bunch of chords that you think will make your music better, but you don't know if you're learning the right thing.
So
makes
what's
sense.
your music style? Like, which type of style do you have when it comes to your music?
Well, I'm still trying to figure that out, to be honest, but I'm getting closer to like a more like hip hop with heavy electronic future bass influences. But that being said, I'd still love to do something acoustic.
Yeah. Acoustic.
So
Yeah.
it's all over the place.
I see Sander doing so, like he's also into acoustics. Yeah.
Yeah, acoustic is my favorite. But yeah, man, I've seen like some of your videos. Like I definitely see that you have a passion for music. Is it alright if I can quickly ask?
Go ahead.
What when was the day that you thought, oh hey, music is the thing that I want to pursue for the rest of my life, and like how did you like approach it, and how did you like chase towards that dream?
Right. So it's it's always started off as a hobby, right? So when I was young, it's
Mm.
always been a hobby. I've always played it. Um, a few times I've decided this is going to be it for me, and a few times I've given up because there wasn't
Right,
that
right.
drive or the support anywhere really. Like, uh, and then I tried to start getting practical about it, and then I would sometimes find motivation online. You know how
Right.
to keep yourself motivated, and then that would get me into the business side of things. How do you, build a business around what you love, and um, it was just gradual. But I think like I took a course about three months ago or 2 months ago. It was like a video. It was about growing with videos and stuff, and
Right.
something that they kept driving home was there needs to be a niche of some sort, and
Yep, yep.
whenever they say like you've got to specialize in something to see results, like the first thing that popped in, well, it's definitely going to be music, something music related. And then the more I looked at music, the more sub niches there were in that. So it's kind of
Yeah,
like I'm
yeah.
back at square one. But it's just better to start sooner than later. So when I heard that, and I came to that part of the course, that was when I made a more conscious decision to keep following through with it. And then came the music video after that, and more plans on the way for just music. And it's not like I can only do music. Like the the videos I'm going to be putting out on my channel are going to be music related. So maybe I've been seeing a lot of creative people make videos like recording themselves making music, or maybe they're critiquing or giving their thoughts on someone else's music, or a music tutorial. And I think that's something I could be very comfortable doing. Your answer was, what was your question again? But it was like when did I decide to actually, yeah, so that part of the course a few months ago, you know.
So
Okay,
you
okay,
you
fair enough.
decided like basically like, so that video that just came out, that was kind of like your statement of I'm all in, like.
Yeah, well, it's been that long that I've been doing music for, and there was no, see, it's not really it wasn't really a statement like that. It was a bit of, for me, it was a bit of desperation, because I've been doing it for that long, and life was getting more and more busy no matter what. And I knew that, it was right before coronavirus started getting really serious. I knew that a part of my life would start. I'd have a bit of time freeing up for some time, and then after that it would pick up again. Like right now it's starting to pick up again. So that's when I decided, I know I'm gonna have a few months where I can kind of save money, and I had a bit of money saved up, so I just threw it at the music video.
Okay, but there was one thing you mentioned that got my attention. You said that at first you didn't have much support. Like, by that, what do you mean support from, like family, community, or like which type of support are you talking about that kind of like made you feel like, I don't want to keep going, but like.
Oh, it's, expectations. A lot of it is in your own head, but I know of people who come from musical families, musical parents. If you want to pursue this, go for it, and they'd have like the full support of everyone around them, close to them, far from them. And I never had that. It was always, the degree is more important. Are you being realistic?
Oh, dude, I totally get you, man. Like I would say I'm kind of in the same boat. Like, dude, music is also one of my dreams, right? Music and like graphic designs, but it's like a matter of obviously there's like heaps of problems towards it. Like, say for example, like money. Like I need to save up money to do this, and like you know. And later on down the road, I kind of like found out that, you know, maybe I just need financial freedom in order to stay comfortable at chasing my dreams without having to worry about, let's say, mortgage, you know, feeding the family, etc. So like I'm kind of chasing my dreams into um, like I'm still kind of chasing my dreams, but at the same time I'm kind of like, you know, like securing. So it's kind of like chasing my dreams and also securing my future, which I'm happy because I know like I'm not gonna be stuck at the same job that I'm doing for the rest of my life, right? I'm just
Yeah.
working towards something better. In saying that, bro, like with no support, like obviously that put you in kind of like a negative state, right? Like, shit, man, like, you know, no one's like supporting me, and which is reasonable, bro. But how do you like tackle with that? Like, how do you like find solutions? How do you get yourself into that positive state where, oh man, you know what? Like this is my dream. Like I want to work towards this. You know, like all that negative is like nothing. Like how do you tackle that?
Right. Well, the, there was lots of cool stuff you said about the financial freedom earlier. I want to circle back to that. But the motivation, I don't want to use motivation, but inspiration. You know, to get into that mindset,
Right.
it comes from looking at other people that are doing really similar things
Mm.
that I want to be doing.
Yeah.
So there's a creator I found recently. He's called Music by Blanks. Makes great
Yeah, I
music
know him.
live. Yeah,
It's so
like
good, yeah. Like in 1 hour, right?
yeah. So
Yeah.
and he does it frequently. So either he's like making all this stuff in a like maybe shooting 5-6 videos in a day, and then
Yeah.
releasing them a while, or like he's got a process, you know. And for him to have worked that hard to hone all of these different skills, you know, to make all that, because it looks like he does it all by himself. That's inspirational. And then there's you know, just other creators, really, other creators that are like constantly, regularly putting out quality stuff, and you're like, well, you know, if they can do it, so can I. And also the other people that are coming up. So there's a guy I met recent. I didn't meet him. I found out about him recently on Instagram. Right, he's a Australian rapper. He's called Gregory. He's a bit of a controversial dude, but something that you can't really fault him for is like the consistency of how hard he's working, and there's always new songs coming out. And you can, if you like scroll back a bit, you could see like where he used to be and how he started, and he just keeps reinventing himself, and that's pretty inspirational too.
When
But I don't know.
when you said before that you had like your family or people like telling you about degrees and all that, like were they like encourage you to just finish your school and like drop your music, or what? How was it more like the tension there? Was it like
Well, it's more like if I tell them, if I bring up that I'm working on something, or that I won a singing competition, or I was on X Factor, they'd say that's nice, but how's school?
mm,
Like
Yeah.
there's absolutely no validation from people that
yeah
you need it most from, and then it all becomes like this game of not
Self-doubt.
like you don't want to show them that what, like, you know what they're doing, but you don't want to show them that that it hurts.
mm. It's very interesting how when it comes to creating and content and all that, like I can relate that a bit with that. I mean, I'm not a musician, but with my streams and
Yeah.
and all that, just the people that are outside your family or like are closest to you, the people from outside are the ones that gives you crazy support, and then you have your family, your closest friends kind of not really caring, kind of just not saying much about what you're doing, so that kind of like makes
Yeah.
you feel like, oh, like they're my people, like how are they not
Yeah.
like pushing me towards doing more? and
Yeah.
then you meet a bunch of like other people that puts more effort into like what you're doing and wants to know more. So that's a bit
Yeah.
like crushing there. Like I bet for you was it too.
Yeah. The I something from an audiobook recently by he's a musician as well, huge independent musician. He's called Russ. But he put out an audiobook, and something that just, you know, slapped me in the face was he was talking about those people that will say that kind of stuff to you are usually the kind of people that didn't go for it themselves.
Mm.
So that's where that sort of energy is coming from. Um, But there are other people that go for it. You know, there are valid reasons why to try and why not to try.
Yeah.
It just whichever one you kind of wherever you fall into, and then those will be the kind of people that might encourage you or tell you to, you know, what if this goes wrong, what if that goes wrong.
Mm.
Yeah,
Would-
then, you know, just gotta understand, see it for what it is.
Yeah.
Probably.
Saying that, bro. Like, do you still like? Do you reckon you still feel stuck in that like negativity, like with no support, or do you feel like you've broken through, or do you just had like a breakthrough with like pursuing your dreams?
Well, you only live once, right? So I
Yeah.
don't think there's I don't know if there's a switch, but like you do have to be your own biggest fan in a lot of ways.
Yeah.
Right.
Um,
Yeah.
And I'm just continuously trying to get there, but you know, it wasn't really a, you know, going, I'm gonna throw everything at it now. But I'm practically like trying to plan like the next year or so, like where am I gonna live, where's the money gonna come from, what kind of projects am I gonna do, am I gonna be able to make money from, you know, within this industry as opposed to doing a different job. And then the closer
Right,
I get to there, but you do have to be a bit delusional though,
Mm.
like, you know, like
Mm.
you do have to be delusional to try to do it. So
Yeah.
it's kind of like make yourself just, it's not really, it's not realistic, but you still have to try. You have to.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, 100%, 100%. Yeah.
I really love what you said there. Like you have to be your biggest like fan, kind of like that, or what? How did you say it? How did you?
Yeah, you have to be your biggest fan, your
Yeah.
own biggest fan.
Yeah, I love that. I love the way you say it because it's basically it's
I'm
basically
sure I didn't come up with it, but
no, but it's, I mean, you said it right now, so it's very nice because that like the fact that, I mean, that you have to like love yourself and say like, hey, I'm good enough for this, like I'm gonna keep going, I'm not gonna let like the others pull me down, and I'm just gonna like cheer up myself and fan myself and like, you know, say yay, you know, like be your own father and mother kind of
yeah,
like that.
yeah. There's a lot. I haven't looked into it yet, but there is a lot about reparenting yourself.
Yeah.
Like, because, you know,
Yeah.
there's a lot of things that you've picked up from the environment you grew up in. I grew up in a super religious environment,
Mm.
so church, like 6 days a week, the school and the church, all part of the same kind of ecosystem, with the same things being drilled into you. You gotta rewrite your own coding.
Yeah. So like
100%, 100%.
like
Mm.
how is it for you right now when it comes to like the terms of, because you say you come from a religious family, like is
Yeah.
religion like for you like nothing that that can like help you to pursue it more, to keep going, or is like religion just like aside and you just stay more like, let's say, realistic into what you're doing?
That's a big can of worms that I don't really know how to approach, but I'll just talk about how I see it and how I used to see it and
Mm.
how that's affected me. So I grew up, you know, believing it, and I always believed that to believe in religion would mean not to follow your dreams, like that they
Mhm.
would clash.
Okay.
You know, you can't meaningfully pursue music and be a God-fearing whatever, And then after I left school, I moved to Newcastle for studies, and I lost my faith. Um, for one reason or another, I'm not really sure why, but I started coming back into it, but with a much more open mind. Like, you know, maybe the religion I was brought up in isn't the right one, but that's not to say that there isn't anything out there, or maybe it's the universe. And I know that this is more getting into like my personal beliefs, but you know, we're all made from stars,
Yeah.
so like it's all the same atoms. So maybe we are all the same thing at the end of the day, but you know, in different ways. So if you just believe in yourself, the universe will give you what you want, because
Yeah.
you are the universe. I don't know.
Yeah.
It's getting a bit.
We're going to the cosmos now.
Yeah. Or maybe maybe none of that's true, and like none of it means anything, and you just gotta try because you
Yeah.
gotta try. Like,
Yeah, you just
I don't know.
gotta do it. Okay, but who in your family would you say is the one person, and I hope you're gonna say Chief, no. No, the one person that has encouraged you most within your music and your dreams, and it's the one person in your family that you say, yes, like this person has believed in what I've been doing.
Definitely Chief, yeah. Definitely
Yeah, I
Chief.
was hoping for that.
And I know he understands it because he's doing his own thing as well. Like
Yeah.
all the same struggles, you know, posting things, you know, being uncomfortable with how you look, and like it's all something that we all kind of like, because you're putting yourself on a camera
Yeah.
and stuff like that. You know, all these, everyone deals with all that stuff. So yeah, when I realized that when I heard a few years back that he was starting the Twitch stuff, and that's something that I haven't. I don't do Twitch, you know, and I was like, damn, like he's doing his own thing, like, you know, that's great.
Yeah.
You know, you didn't ask for anyone's permission, and whenever we met, like we always talk about, you know, hardware and little technical stuff that you got to do to put together something. And he gave me the headphones to help me, which I sold.
Aw. It's so cute.
That's fine.
Okay, and how has it been for you, Chief? Like to see Pika going to all this process of his music and enlightenment.
Well, I've seen PK from like at his best moments and his worst moments. In saying that, like, just from the struggles of when he was mentioning before, parents not approving, to the extent, we won't go backstory, but like he had a guitar and that got ruined and smashed. So, and then trying to pick up from like having something you love being destroyed right in front of you. Like how do you bring yourself up back from that? Luckily for me, when I mentioned before of doing the guitar and learning 3 strings and giving up, I still had one. So I'm like, just take my guitar. I don't want anything. So he still had that way. I felt like it was still something that you could use. Obviously it wasn't tuned, you know, so he had to do all of the technical stuff with it, but they ended up getting it working. And then like those are just some of like his hard moments. And even when we have our chats and I want to do this, but I'm getting pressured into doing study for radiology and all that stuff. So it's with someone that's had a lot of obstacle courses in his life. PK has definitely gone through a lot of hurdles. But I've also seen a lot of his great moments from when he used to invite me to this restaurant, and back then I was doing poetry, and he'd encourage me to do poetry while he was doing music performances in a restaurant, you know. And we went and started eating food, and it was a lot of fun. And it was him and Karim, and I believe Tina came back there. Like those were hectic moments. That was like, you know, all of the people that were negative, that are close to him, he's found another community that support him through friends or other communities. It's not, I don't think people should be pressured or stopped because of people that are closest to them, because you can always find people that will bring you up from other places. You just got to find it or build it yourself. So yeah, from restaurant gigs to youth organization gigs with Exodus Youth Works' poetry slams. I did performances there, and you could see the crowd loving it, and I loved it.
It's nice.
And it grows even further beyond. It goes through he making from videos to Bondi Beach, which I found really fun and creative with his friends, and then he's got even more that he's done at home. His brothers come and help him as well. So I feel like your brothers support you quite a bit,
Yeah.
and it's nice to see the other PKs do their own things, even with making music. I remember coming up to him asked Peter like. I made a YouTube video. He's like, "Oh, I've got this beat for you. Use it for like an intro and outro." I'm like, "Really? I could." He's like, "Yeah, I did it. I put it." I'm like, "Oh, hectic!" I was like excited. So, um,
And they're
yeah,
pretty
and
good
it's
too,
they're good. I like it,
yeah.
and that was like when he first was getting into it. I can't imagine how he is now. He's obviously improved. I feel like with anyone and everyone through the practice of your craft, you can just keep improving. Even if you've stopped for a while and you're rusty, it's not like you've gone downhill. You just clean off the rust and keep going from there. Um, and that's just like a tip of the iceberg of what PKs have done on his best moments. There's even more. So even when we were talking about his video on lately, he didn't want to spoil too much, but he was excited, and he came to me when I was doing we went to first round esports, and he invited me in the car and no one else, just so I could listen to it. No one else could listen to it.
Oh.
So I was like, yeah, I got exclusive listening. I myself felt a little bit special, excited, and just by listening, I'm like, I can't wait to see the music video. And I saw it, I was like, it's perfect. I know PK is the type of person that criticizes himself and his craft quite extensively. I won't say harshly, but he's very practical in the sense of there is some things I could do better. Or he'll also find input from others who are in the field that can give him feedback. So PK is not on a standstill moment. He's always trying to improve one way or another. So it's always nice to see that. And then you look forward to the next thing that he can bring out. Uh, I don't know if there's pressures that you may have, PK, saying, I always need to make the next thing better or better or better. If you get the anxiety of what if the next thing I put out is bad or it's not as great as the last one that I did, uh, I think you should have a lot of fun while you're doing it, as well as while you're doing your crafts and while you're learning. Um, and I'm like you, I'm a huge fan. Sure, I'm your cousin, but I just love seeing the work that you
Yeah.
come up with, and even like you're probably one of the supportive people I know, even for me. Even when I'm sick, like I just had my appendix removed, and this bloke, yeah, I got nothing, I'm coming. I'm like, no, you don't have to. Nah, I'm coming. And then he comes out. He spends the whole day with me. I'm like, bro, aren't you bored? He's like, nah, I'm good. And then he shared me. He has a TikTok account or watching the videos. It makes me smile, seeing like he's doing things and he's
Yeah.
having fun with it in other platforms as well. So you're a bit of touch and base with a lot of things with YouTube, Instagram. I don't know how much you've touched base into Twitter, but even seeing you starting TikTok now, like it's fun. So, uh, yeah, I can't wait to see what more you can do. I really would hate to see you come up one day and say, "I think I'm done. I've stopped." That will probably be soul crushing. So don't do that.
I think it's very
Thanks,
interesting
Kate.
when
Thanks,
you
Chief.
say that that he criticizes himself, right? But I
I
think,
think everyone does,
I
though.
and mostly when you're an artist, you have that. Like, I can relate to pick. I mean, I do, for example, photography. Yeah, and I hate all my pictures. And I see people that tell me, "Oh, your photos are so good. You're so good." And I always find something in my pictures. I don't know how it is with you with music, but do you always find that little thing that you say, nah, I don't like this, and then you like, I have to improve this, I have to do this. Like, do you find yourself kind of picking dust from like your own
Yeah.
stuff?
So yeah, that's especially with music. I've heard of that happening to a lot of musicians. So it's it's never gonna be perfect.
Mm.
So you you kind of want it to be. You want to change the world every single time with everything you put out, right? You want
Yeah.
it to be that amazing that it's just gonna get a million views as soon as you post it,
Yeah.
and because it was perfect and you took out all the mistakes. But you know, like I think it's. I've come to the conclusion that it's better to put more 80% stuff out than much less 100% stuff.
Mhm.
You know, like then there's something that I read. It's the same audiobook by Russ. I just want to mention it because I learned a lot from it. It's called um, what's it called? Get Get Out of Your Way. It's called Get Out of Your Way. So something that he mentioned in there was you could just finish it, even if it's not perfect, and then at least you have a finished product, and that way it's a lot easier to put it out.
Mhm.
And you just got to get over yourself at some point. Like it's you just realize that you gotta keep putting the things out
Yeah.
no matter what. I don't know if I
Yeah.
rambled on for too
No,
long.
no,
but
I totally agree with you when you say get over yourself, because that's like you're your biggest enemy. Like when
yeah,
it comes to achieving stuff. Like sometimes it's not even people the ones that put a stone up front you, it's just yourself. And then you just have to get over yourself and just kind of like push it through and like stop being your worst enemy and just
yeah,
keep on going and not just like stumble on something and doubts and so I totally feel you there when you say like to get over yourself. Like if not, like that's the only thing that it's there, it's to get over yourself so you can continue to approach whatever for whatever you want to do. So I totally get you. And while we speak, I'm becoming your biggest fan, dude. You're amazing. Like really, I really like your personality, what you've been doing. Like I really like. I don't find you that quiet anymore. it's it's pretty cool. But yeah. So we're right now like in Corona time, right? So did you have plans of before Corona happened when it comes to performing on stage? Were there any plans?
um, I was going through. I'm going through something at the moment. It's like a bit of a traumatic thing, so my plans are all over the place. So in an ideal world, I'd always be moving forward. I'd be planning the next gigs, but I've always wanted to focus on the digital side of things, because
Mhm.
if we're gonna if we're gonna look at it from a business sense, like if you're putting out videos and albums and things that could still make other people happy while you're not giving them attention,
Mm.
and I think that's a more scalable way to follow your passion. But I don't know, not really on. I'm not really big on the live performance stuff. I've done it. I used to busk as well. That was fun, but I
You
didn't
used
have
to
plans for
what?
being
Sorry.
like singing on the street for spare change.
Oh, okay. So that's the term.
Yeah.
Okay. Oh, how
Busk,
was
yeah.
that? Did you like it?
Yeah, you get harassed quite a bit,
Yeah.
but I was fine with that. People that really wanted to give me alcohol, and they weren't like homeless. I think they wanted to give me alcohol, and I almost took it, but I thought, "Okay, no, I'm gonna. That's not a good thing to do. I shouldn't do that."
I really love to see people that actually like dare to like be on the street and just sing and perform. Like what made you go into it? Like what made you say, okay, today I'm going out and today I'm just gonna sit here and sing?
Yeah, how do you
No.
get the balls to do that?
Yeah.
I've always had the balls to like do cringy
It's
public
true.
stuff. You know,
You've always had that confidence. I don't understand how you know. I can't do it.
I've just desensitized myself to cringe to a certain. That's a switch I can flip. Like if you go, Paul, I'll record you.
That's
Go,
crazy.
go do that. I'll be like, all right. But
It's cool.
I've never tried it before, and I thought I'd try it. And I'm sure it was like also seeing other people do it too that I thought were pretty good. As a
Yeah,
way to
Tones and I did
reach
it.
new
She
people.
got popular that way.
Yeah.
How was like? Do you remember have your first performance once? Like out in the streets.
Yeah.
Tell me, please. Tell me.
Out on the streets, it went fine.
Yeah. Did you
It
get
was,
money?
Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
You always make money. So before that, because I'm a goody two shoes, I wanted to make sure that I was going to be on the right side of the law. So I got a permit, and
Yeah.
I was told there
Oh.
would be an audition. I practiced for the audition to make sure that I'd kill it. But then I got there, and they're like, "All right, give us the money. Here's your permit." But no worries. I even brought my guitar with me to the office. And then I figured out how to like power an amp out on the street. Found a
Yeah.
nice place, and I just started singing, and the money came in. It was nice. Trying to think back, because I'd often do it. I remember when I used to do it, it was while people were out drinking in Sydney. So that's where a
nighttime.
lot of trouble came. Yeah, nighttime.
So you used to
I never
go
did
play music on the streets on the nighttime? Never.
Yeah.
Okay.
I found it hard to wake up early enough, to be honest. So,
Okay. And for how long did you
nighttime.
do it?
hours, sometimes until my throat couldn't sing anymore.
Okay, but you're not doing it anymore.
No,
You have no plans to
No,
to get.
sing on the tuba.
Yeah.
I feel like you want me to.
I feel like I want you to record that too, please.
Yeah.
I feel like
Uh,
yeah, it would be very nice to like have. I mean, maybe you and Chief could go out together, and he just has the
Oh,
camera
hell
there.
no. I don't
No,
have the
you
ball-
just
oh,
have the camera, and you just
Chief,
like
okay.
yeah.
Chief brings
I-
his PC and just starts gaming on the screen.
Yeah. I'd be like, "Go Twitch live. Oh, here you go, guys. We're out on the street.
I'm in the background with my piano just making beats.
Yeah.
But-
Bum, bum, bum,
But when
bum,
was the
bum,
last
bum,
time you
bum.
did it?
It feels like over a year ago, maybe a year and a half ago.
But did
But I
that
would
did that
sing on-
like
sing on the
help you?
street.
Did that do good to you? To like,
Yeah. It's like yeah, I know what you're talking about. So you get more confidence doing
Yeah.
that, and it's also like a check off the
I've done
bucket
busking.
list for like a
Yeah, I've
musician.
done it.
Just yep, I've done it.
Okay.
But I think a lot of people get a lot more deep into that side of music.
No, but you should
Hmm.
definitely do it, and then Chief can go and film, and you can like live stream it, and that'd be so cool, dude. Imagine like, oh, I've been so watching plays. Can you do it for me? Like,
I'll
Just
I'll
say yes
start
and
playing.
we'll move on.
Alright.
But you
I-
know
I
what?
do- If busking, the best busking performance I've seen come out of Australia was from someone called Tash Sultana. I really like.
I
how
know
she-
her.
Yeah, she had like a whole production set with her. She would go around with it.
really?
Yeah,
she's
so-
crazy good.
I've
Singing on the guitar is nice, but I don't feel like that's like I could get pretty good at that, but I don't feel like that's gonna be the best way for me to do it. So I should probably get closer to the production side of things.
mm,
And if I could make like live music from a computer
yeah.
out on the street, I think that'd go pretty far.
Have you thought of doing a live stream, like singing and all that from your home, like just from your living room?
Yeah, I thought of it definitely.
Twitch.
It's,
Just said that.
I don't have a bedroom at the moment. I'm kind of sharing a space at the moment. So it's pretty hard to have even putting this together. This was a bit of a stretch, but to have a place where I could stream for a long time,
Mm.
probably need to work on the space first, and then
But would you
Yeah,
see
could definitely-
yourself like live streaming in the future and from your own
Up-
space?
I've done lives on other platforms. Like I did Instagram and Facebook before.
Okay.
But yeah, and I started writing a song on the guitar,
Okay.
and that's something I've done. But yeah, I think like doing more production stuff on Twitch, you can't go wrong with that. You just gotta
Okay.
make the time for it.
Yeah, or
Stop
YouTube or whatever. The fact is just to put it out there, right? Like,
Yeah.
just to make. Okay. Cool.
Hey PK, so what would you say is your best gig and your worst gig that you've experienced?
That's pretty easy. So you might have been there for my worst gig.
Which one?
So my first gigs were part of the school formal. So there was
Oh,
in our school was very, you know, like the I don't know how formals are supposed to be, but we had like
our
priests
form was
coming
a
out
shit, bro.
formal,
No,
had some parents were there, no
we had,
alcohol. There's-
bro. It
wasn't-
was like, no, it wasn't. I don't consider that a proper formal.
So I decided, hey, I'm gonna perform at this. You know, why not? I got all the words wrong. I wasn't playing the right thing on the piano. It was a train wreck from beginning to end. I was looking at my maths teacher. I still remember him, bro. He's just like looking at me like that was the face he was making the whole time.
When will he finish?
Like,
I taught this kid.
and like I'd be like seeing something and I'd be like I'd say a word wrong and I wouldn't even keep singing. I'd just be like I'd go back and be like, oh wait, and say the right word.
Yeah.
So those were probably one of my most difficult performances to do. And the best ones were probably the ones where it was more of a jam than it was a gig that was just for me. So the Exodus ones, those restaurant ones you were talking about,
Mm.
those were really nice.
Yeah, they were fun. You did mashups. You guys like just freestyled a mashup as well, which was cool.
Yeah, we got those ideas from all of those YouTube videos that would come out and they'd put one
Yeah.
song in the same beat.
Yeah.
Good old days.
So here's one question then. Do you sing in the shower?
No,
You don't?
no, I sing in the car because everyone will hear me if I sing in the shower. The acoustics are too good. My shower is right next to a window that's next to the neighbors.
Imagine giving live
It'd be like
concert for them.
screaming right into their living room from the acoustics. But the place I sing the most is in the car because I love the acoustics in the car. Like there's no reflection, no one else can hear you. I don't sing in the shower.
That's
Okay.
okay. You don't need
Sing in the car with your windows open.
Closed.
he'd have it rolled up,
Always
bro.
closed.
But have you tried?
Yeah, I've done that before. Sometimes when I'm with a friend, like to make them cringe when we're at a traffic light, sing at the people next to us. But I don't do that a lot.
Oh, really?
I'll usually just sing to myself.
Why? You feel shy?
Yeah, I feel like someone might be having a really bad day, and the last thing they need is for me to be like, "Do you believe in love?" They might not want that.
Oh.
I'd rather think to someone who's like, yes, I would like to hear someone sing now.
Okay. So you were mentioning before how you've been writing songs, right? So how
Yep.
old were you when you wrote your first song? And do you still like have those lyrics?
So I started writing songs when I was in primary school. I remember that there was I wasn't expecting this question. I've got to think about it. So there was a PowerPoint presentation that we had to do,
Mhm.
and my one was about the school and specifically our classroom. And I made a sort of rap song that incorporated all the defects in the classroom. Like there was a hole in the wall. I remember this one lyric: the walls and the holes in the wall make me feel at home. They remind me of the Leaning Tower in Rome. That's something I can remember. And I made like a whole song like that, and the whole class learnt it and would always sing it at lunchtime.
Oh, how
And
cute.
then in high school, I would just keep doing that, and then for some reason I became known as the freestyle kid, but I never knew how to freestyle rap. I would just say nonsense as long as it rhymed. That was it. Just to entertain people in the class. And then in high school, I can't. It was. I remember I was making songs that were making fun of people, so I became a little bit of a bully,
The troll.
and then the whole class
Diss
would learn
tracks,
those songs
mate.
too. Yeah. But yeah, the more like if I wanted to make a YouTube video or something, so I've taken them down now because I don't like them, but I started writing songs
I
properly.
remember your
probably.
first early YouTube videos as well with you and Karim, and he was on the thing and just tapping on the box.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah. That was more of a singing, like we were cover writing.
Mm.
So now,
But I've written more in the past year, so yeah.
sorry. So nowadays, what inspires you to write a song? Like, how do you write a song? What makes you sit down and write a song?
Okay, so my process, the best ideas come when you're doing nothing. Like if you sit down and write a song, I don't think you're gonna write a very good song. But sometimes I'm like, I've got a song playing on Spotify, and I'm in the car and I'm driving home or something, and then I'm singing along, but I don't know the words, so I'll do my own thing, and then I'll be like, wait, that was a pretty good riff. I should take note, and I'll actually like pull over and record it on my phone, like the music idea, and then whenever I want to write something, I'll sit down with my guitar and I'll come up with some chords that go with that idea. I've got lots of ideas on my phone, just things that I've recorded with the sound recorder, and then I'll go from there. And then if I can turn that into a beat, then I'll have something that's a bit more solidified. Try get an MP3 going of some sort. Doesn't have to be too complicated, just something with like a intro, pre-chorus, chorus. That's usually the kind of formula I go by for songs, and then I'll write to it as I'm making the beat. But most of it will be like when I've got a finished beat, not completely ready to send beat, but just like something with a beginning and an end, and then I can kind of tell where the lyrics are gonna go. And then as I'm writing the lyrics, maybe I'll want like the beat to stop or something, and then or maybe like a different sound to come in, and then I'll finish writing everything at the same time. Other ways are just on guitar. Like if I'm like fiddling around with the guitar and I'm not really trying to make anything, but I come up with something that I think is cool,
Yeah.
I'll write it down.
Yeah.
Like I'll write down like what I think the BPM is and the chords, and like a sound, like record the audio on your phone, and then you write to it like that. So
But
it's just a matter of recording, like getting the idea down so that you can come to it later.
but are you that type of person that, okay, for example, like needs to experience something in the life and then you just write about it? Like for example, like, okay, I like to write, yeah.
Yeah.
So normally I write at my worst times. Like, and photography, for example. Normally if I'm taking pictures or when I feel like taking my camera to go out and take pictures is because I'm myself not feeling well, like, and that's what makes me create sometimes my good stuff, like take good pictures or write something good.
You mean through your emotions?
Yeah. So do you use like your emotions, your what's going on into your life to also write, or?
I've never really. I've done that maybe twice. I find that a bit hard to do, to be honest. Sometimes while I'm writing something, I'll try think of someone,
Mm.
because I do like to write a lot about like love and romance and stuff like that. So I'll think about like an encounter I had with someone and
Mm.
dedicate the song to them.
Mm.
Um, but yeah, that's something I should work on.
Okay, so
Like,
yep.
to like harness emotion. I have never been in touch with my emotions.
What you mean? You're a musician. That's part of.
Doesn't mean you have to be. No, you
No,
don't.
but I mean,
You
music
can be.
is
Yeah.
pure emotions. That's
That's how I feel it really. Like it's not. I'm. I try to be a good storyteller, and it's very good to be one.
yeah.
But I see it a bit differently. I see it a bit differently.
Okay, so we were talking before about how you do your music, right? So have you sometimes have before the beat and then later you have to like add some lyrics, or do you work first lyrics then the beat, or how how do you get a
Um,
song done basically, like
always, always music first
always
because
music?
I
Okay.
write. That's how I would do it. I prioritize the. So I've always thought of music that like there's two aspects to it. There's the message,
Mm-hmm.
and that's usually like, you know, the meaning behind it, and then there's the feeling.
Mm-hmm.
Just the music. So if you, I guess a good song would be like if you could take out the lyrics and you just listen to the instrumental, you know what the
Yeah.
song's about.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
know, so I would write that. I would write the music first,
Mm.
and then write the lyrics to it, and then it'll feel like it, like that they were really meant for each other.
Yeah, it's kind of like
Both of them.
when you hear Michael Jackson, right? You hear the beats,
Yeah.
and then you can listen to his music without the lyrics, and the beats are just like freaking amazing. So you think like it's important to have bits that are also good to listen by itself without the lyrics. Is that how you
Yeah.
work? Okay.
I want it to be pleasant to listen to.
Mm.
It's got to be something that, because I don't really, when I think of someone listening to my music, I don't really picture them. All right, I'm gonna stop everything now. I'm gonna
Yeah.
no, don't talk to me. I'm gonna listen to Paul's song now. It's not how I picture them doing it.
Yeah.
It's they're usually doing something else, and
Mm.
I'm just in the
Mm.
background.
Yeah.
You know.
You
So
like the background noise.
yeah, and
Yeah.
hopefully I just whatever they're doing, it's easier. It's nicer for them to do because I'm playing. I'm just
Mm.
cheering them on.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
completely feel you with this part, because when I was thinking about starting the series of like the podcast, in my idea, I just was kind of thinking, okay, I don't expect like people to like listen to everything. I expect them to kind of like have it in the background while they're probably falling asleep, while they would just want to go to bed. Yeah. No, really, that's how
Yeah, I
I picture.
know,
That's how
but
I
like,
picture
yeah.
people listening to the podcast. It's kind of like, because I listen to a lot of podcasts too, and that's how I fall
Yeah.
asleep.
Yeah.
So
Wow.
Well, you're not wrong. I did it while I was streaming. I had your podcast in the
yeah,
background
that
while I was
was very
streaming.
nice. Yeah.
So
I totally get like, so what are your, like, for example, your thoughts, like you picture, oh, my people are listening to me while what, just working, and
Well, maybe at first they'll watch it, but then if it comes again, then it'll be like while they're driving or if they're having a
Mm.
conversation, if they're cooking, whatever.
whatever. Okay.
whatever.
How was how was your first video, when you put your first video out on YouTube? How were you?
Yeah.
How was that
So
like?
you excited kid?
are you talking about my first ever YouTube video, like back in those days?
Mm-hmm.
I didn't feel anything.
You didn't feel anything.
It was like no nervousness back then. It was like I didn't expect people to watch it back then. It was a bit of fun in our circle, in our group of friends, but I
Yeah.
just saw it as, just putting something together and just chucking it out there. Like you're not
Yeah.
really, there was no, because you're just getting started.
Mm.
I started really young, so I didn't feel like I was jumping off a cliff or anything like that.
Yeah.
It was just pure fun back then. And we started when we were young. We were really big fans of Harry Potter. Me and my brothers. We had videos of we figured out how to add special effects to like 240p video. It would have like one fight. It was just fun.
Mm.
You know,
But
it's probably a really good way to get started.
how was it for you then when you posted out your video then, the recent video? Or the
The
Do you
first
still have
video.
that fun? Yeah. Do you still have that
That was-
same feeling, that fun?
It was one of the most stressful things I've done in my life.
Oh, please tell me then.
It's so opposite. Has
Yeah.
to be perfect. This has to work. Can they hear me? Is it high enough?
We had so much going on that day. So first of all, the writing the music, like me and Karim, we spent a few days making the song, and that was really fun. We would sometimes like go to a bar, and then we would go write some in the bar, write some in the car. That rhymed. That was pretty funny. And that was probably the best bit. And then planning the music video, then a lot more business decisions had to be made because we wanted to be great. We wanted to be like a spectacle. We wanted to tell a story of like betrayal, but there was only so much things we could chuck in there, and the more amazing we tried to make it, the more money we had to spend on it.
Mhm.
And then there comes the day of the shooting, and that was. We had a lot of people behind the scenes on time schedules that had some of them had come from like Newcastle, you know, to help with like the makeup or the photography or the lighting. And if we fell behind schedule, it would get very stressful because first of all, their
Sounds
time.
stressful.
Second of all, we had to pay them more, obviously, because they're here for a lot longer. And we didn't get all the shots we wanted in one day, so we had this thing where one of the actors didn't want to come in for the other day, so we had to make everything fit.
Wait, so you made this
Is this
video?
for lately?
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's what
Okay.
the question was.
Yeah,
for, right?
yeah, lately, yeah. So wait, so this video was made of your own pocket?
Yeah, of course. Of course.
Damn it.
Where would we get?
No,
whose
no,
pocket would it?
I'm so sorry. Like I just was
Show me their
like, I
pockets.
actually didn't even think about the whole like money thing. Like I was just, oh, Piki made a video. Like I actually didn't like think further. Like now that I think about it, it's like, wasn't it
There was like a-
stressful?
Yeah, it's if you think of it, because a lot of us had film experience, right? Like I'd been an
Mhm.
actor on some short projects. They never came out because they just wanted an actor. Videos. I've had other guys come in that were good at videos, but we all knew how to direct, edit. So we were able to cut a lot of costs because we were doing a lot of these things ourselves. If you can imagine that the cameraman, like Karim, had the frame that he wanted in his head, but then you'd have to get behind the camera guy and be like, all right, this is what I want you to do. When I get to this point on the set, press this button and pull the focus this way, and then you'd have all that, and then you'd have to go in front of the camera and then act.
Okay.
And then he wouldn't get it right, and then you'd have to go back and then, take after take and pay for all that, and then hire a bunch of equipment that we didn't have.
Mm.
Did you guys have to edit it yourselves, or did you guys have to pay for that as well?
No, we edited it ourselves. Karim did 95% of the editing, 99% of the editing, and then we just gave him a bit of our opinions. But that was all him.
Yeah. Did you guys think that maybe like you guys could probably save more if you guys could do it yourselves, or was it just the lack of equipment that you guys had?
Oh, it was saving. So after all the costs that we cut, we ended up spending around $4,000 all up
4,000.
for the whole, like hiring the
Oh,
actors, the photographers, videographers, the gear, everything. Catering for the day, because you have to, you're gonna bring 10 people to a location, you have to feed them. It's first of all, it's the law. Second of all, it's the nice thing to do. Yeah, there were multiple, like, so one thing that happened on the day of shooting was one of the locations that we were going to shoot at, they turned around and said, sorry, you can't shoot here anymore on the day.
Oh
Uh,
no.
Because they got a big booking, right? So it's either, let these people shoot at our venue for free or say yes to this big booking. So we had to, on a normal film set, you'd have a producer who would take care of that. They'd find a different location when they'd know the project well enough
Mm.
to fix that to put out that fire. But while I'm acting in between sets, I've got to be that guy. I've got to find a new, and that wasn't talked about before because we didn't know that place was going to cancel. We didn't know whose responsibility that was. There was a bunch of people doing a bunch of different things. So it's just the first person that stands out, and then who's going to get the drinks for the actors. Because it was a hot day when we were filming some stuff on the beach. You're just running around trying to make everything happen and put yourself in the right zone once you're on camera and not take too many takes because it all costs money.
So, what
very
would you say you've gained from your experience from doing that first shoot? Like, because you make trial and error, so you're like, what have I learned now that I've went through this
Right.
experience?
So much. So I now know to have backups for
Plan
locations.
Bs.
When it comes to planning everything, I'd also keep it much simpler. So
Oh,
imagine if
100%,
we
yeah.
had, because we had this really ambitious storyline with all these different locations, and it didn't. If we were to do it again, it would obviously come out better. But imagine if we went for that and had all the same facilities, but it was much simpler. I think we would have gotten something that came out much better. That's in my opinion, anyway. That's one thing. Secondly, would be like to have a clear chain of command when things arise. So have responsibilities and jobs be clear cut, and that's what you learn in film school. So you'll have all these names for all these different roles: director of photography, director, producer. I don't know them all, but I would go through that continuity. I'd find like a template of that sort of size and allocate roles to all these different people that would know what to do, and that would mean like there wouldn't be any conflict on set. So that'd be the other thing. Just have clear defined roles, and
Yeah.
what else would I do? Well, I'd probably
How about-
yeah. Sorry.
Oh, sorry, bro. So what about like the costing and stuff? Don't you think like $4 grand was a bit too much for like the first, or do you think that it was just the right amount for your first?
So I obviously went around and I found out what these projects were costing. For your first, I'd say it's I was just trying to see if I could do it as well. Like if I wanted to make something that looked great, would I be able to do it?
Yeah.
Which you did
it's a bit
clearly
much.
ask for.
Yeah, better for that much.
Yeah, no, it's really good, man. It's 100% good. But like obviously you've seen like YouTubers like say for example Boyce Avenue or like Tyler Ward, like you know all those like YouTuber like that does like covers, right?
Yeah.
Like do you reckon you could like do something like that by yourself, or maybe with just like a couple of mates, produce the same quality with just the low, less amount of like fees?
You just reminded me of something which ties back to something else. Those types of productions are there usually isn't a storyline, right? So
Right.
once you incorporate a storyline, that will quadruple, tentiple your workload for the video, because then you've got different locations, you've got emotions that you want to portray on camera.
Right, yeah.
Everything has to make sense. You've got continuity. Like if in one shot, we're having an argument, my hat's in the front, but then the hat is to the back, and then you realize only when you're editing little things like that.
Mm.
A problem we had in that video um, for every time there was a scene where someone would use a phone, we always used the same phone. Always. So that's something that. But if you're gonna do something like what you were talking about, like those other groups, and that's probably I'd be more inclined to make something like that where there's not a there's not a crazy storyline. Doesn't have to be a Hollywood production. You could just go to one location that looks aesthetically pleasing, set everything up, plan your shots, and with the same amount of effort, I think you could come out with something that looks a lot better because it's simpler. It'll look a lot more streamlined. Maybe introduce like
Yeah.
a car. A lot of people do things with cars.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah. It's just not like it's not just about like like the aesthetics of the videos, right? But you could also like portray like in one whole scene. You could also portray that like a message you're trying to tell through the song, right? Like say for example, it's like if it's sad and emotional, like you could feel it. You could also see it, right? But I guess like I see your point of view, whereas you're trying to tell a story through a video, which is like no problem. But do you reckon you can still do that with like a low budget or something like that?
Of course, man. Like, and that's more impressive in a way. Like, if it's
Right,
it's
yeah.
like you're playing a video game and you've got all these buffs, or you could like take the boss down without any buffs, like an Iron Dagger or something. That's
Yeah,
way more
yeah.
impressive.
I love the
just do it,
RuneScape reference.
keep it on the to do more with less. I
Yeah,
think that's
okay.
great.
Yeah, all right. So in saying that, bro, obviously, the coronavirus has like settled down a bit, and everyone's getting back on track. Do you see yourself creating more content consistently, or like, say, for example, like a monthly video, or like a weekly video, fortnightly video, or so?
Yeah, well, weekly is the goal. I think, if you could put something out weekly, that's great. I want to, but sometimes it's hard to get out of bed, man. Sometimes
Fair enough.
okay,
Yeah,
things
That's
things in the way.
that's reasonable.
I do have I 2 days ago, me and my friend sat down and we did plan an EP. So it's good to have like a
Right.
big project like that on the horizon, coming out.
Yeah, I reckon you should do it, man, because I can see the passion pouring out of you, and like I 100% feel your energy, man. 100%, I would believe that you should like post more videos weekly, bro. I would be there to support you. I'm pretty
Yeah.
sure
Same
like
here.
everyone will here to will
Yeah.
support you, bro. It's just like then again, it's just your passion, bro. Like, you just gotta, like you said, you gotta be your own fan. You just gotta do what you gotta do, and just no obstacles. Like, bro, no one like, bro. There's gonna be haters, right? There's gonna be haters that don't like your content, bro. But those are not your audience, man. Those that you attract are your audience, bro. So
Yeah.
whatever haters say, bro, it doesn't really matter. You can just take them into consideration why they hate you, or like but you can't really be mad at them because they're not interested in you, because they're like you're not they're not like what they're looking for. Like, does that make sense?
yeah,
Whereas,
yeah.
like, say for example, like I'm attracted to your content, bro, because I love music. I love where your story is from. Like, I'm pretty sure a majority of these people watching you right now are like vibing you, bro. But there's also these people that like are not vibing because they just generally don't like the content, bro. Which is fair enough, man. There's no problem with that. But it's just
Yeah.
bro. Like, you shouldn't like I don't know if that kind of affects you in like a certain way, like with the haters and stuff. But I reckon, bro, just go for it, man.
Does he even have
Uh,
haters? I can't even believe like.
I don't even
Yeah.
know if PK cares about the haters. PK
Nah,
just
I've
brushes
I-
that off so easily.
when I was growing up, I did get bullied a bit, and
Right,
it got to I got my head flushed down the toilet once. So
God
Oh,
damn.
no way.
oh yeah,
Oh
but
my god.
it was I felt
It was
like I've been
refreshing.
through so much. Like, yeah, refreshing. Like, haters are the last thing on my mind, man. Like, I've got such a thick skin right now.
Yeah.
It's fine.
But
He
Plus,
actually
like,
does.
how
if
did
they
you
hurt them, it probably hurt them.
how did you
It's
get a
fine.
thick skin?
Conditioning.
How they get what?
Kicking trees, conditioning his
No,
legs.
no, but how
Nah.
did you get a thick skin? Like, what made you actually to have the self-confidence that you have today, that you don't care about what what other people say about you? It must be a process, because everyone at a certain point cares until
Yeah.
like you just don't care anymore.
Well, it's their loss, really. Like I know I'm a good person, and for everyone that is close to me, I'm sure that I elevate them.
Mm,
So it's their loss.
mm,
Like it's also comes from understanding that you can't be in a good place to want to bring someone down. Like it's just feeling sorry for them, really. Like here I am, I'm doing something, maybe it's not to your taste, and you took the time to put all that effort in and tell me that it's not good. Like that means that you've got nothing better to do,
Yeah.
you know. Or maybe things aren't right for you at home, and this is how you
yeah,
take it out.
that's how you copy it.
So yeah, so it's not my problem if they hate me. Or if
But
they don't.
you,
True.
I mean, you probably like deal with like criticism and comments and all that. Like I mean, now at this stage, I can see like you don't give a shit, like whatever. But in the past, like, was there a point in your life where you kind of thought like, oh, this affects me, and then you work towards actually not giving a shit anymore? If you know what I'm trying to say here.
I've never had to work towards that. It's always just been like that. And when I was younger, I don't know, I'm just thinking about times where I was in tutoring, right? So on our break we'd go out to Coles, and then my friend would dare me to say some stupid things to some strangers for the entertainment, and I'd do it. I don't know, I'm not like most people. I've never had I can switch it off. Like if someone's just being a bad person to me, I can switch it off.
So that has been your skill your whole life.
Probably from grade 10.
You could be spontaneous. That's the thing.
Yeah, but if I say something mean to someone, and then I realize that I've hurt them, and then they're saying mean things back to me, then I'll be like, shit, I did something bad. Like I've got to make it right. Like it's not like I don't care at all about people. It's just like sometimes, like if I realize this isn't fruitful, this isn't gonna help me, I just don't need to listen to this.
Okay, that's a
just
very
want-
nice thing to have, because I guess a lot of people struggle with that when it comes to like I don't know, performing, streaming, like content. Like you probably like deal a lot with like it's not easy to not give a shit. that's what I'm saying. So
It's there's something wrong with them. Like if they're not constructive criticism is always welcomed,
Always,
but if it's not constructive, then that's because there's something wrong with them. Like, and you just happen to be the person that they're gonna take it out on. It could have
Yeah.
easily
You
been
or
the next
nearby.
guy.
Yeah.
And then they'll like try and pick at things at you and say like mean things to you. That's just it's because of them. It's not because of you. You're doing what you're meant to be doing.
yeah, exactly. So going a little bit back into your music video, I have a couple of questions there. So you said that you had to put on your own money there to do that. So what do you have a job to decide beside like your music? Do you do, or how did you gather that money? What did you work just to get that money for your video?
So for a long time now, I've found I find it very hard to be employed at one place. So it's always different things. I really like Uber because that's all on my own time. And if anyone needs something written for them, sometimes I'll write songs for someone else. And charge a small fee for that.
Okay.
Anything where it's like very casual work. I do security guard as well, but recently my license ran out,
Mm-hmm.
so I can't do it as much as I used to. But what I liked about that is like, you know, I'm not expected to be somewhere a few days a week, day in day out. It's like very casual and go with the flow, and sometimes it's just a matter of planning what you spend money on. Like I will sometimes it's some people might find it extreme, but like my lifestyle is not expensive at all,
Mm-hmm.
and they'll be like, you know, well, how come you can't? How come you don't have a room? How come you don't have this? And I could get all of those things, but I don't want to have to spend a lot of money on them.
Yeah.
For the longest time, I had like a rubbish phone with rubbish internet because
Yeah.
I knew that was enough.
Yeah.
You know, I didn't want to get locked into $200 a month for the
Mm.
newest phone with the best internet. I knew that, you know, it would be much
Okay.
better to. Yeah, it's just planning your lifestyle around it. really.
Yeah, exactly. But so basically, for you to be able to do that video, you did like some Uber and some other type of jobs so that you could gather
Yeah.
that money. Okay. Are you planning any new videos?
Yes. So part of when my friend Adil, like you, I always do stuff with him. His background is film specifically. He's always been surrounded by film people, and he wanted to help me make an EP, and I thought that was a great idea.
Mm.
So we planned it all out. This is a lot more planned than that video, so it'll feel a lot more cohesive. And we put down some ideas for videos for all 6 of the songs.
Mhm.
We started off with like 20 songs, but then we thought, you know, like if we have this songs here, then that can be a sad song. We don't need another 3 sad songs. Which one's going to
Yeah.
be the best? That kind of thing.
Yeah.
So yeah, we've got 6 videos planned. Are we going to make them all? Probably not. Probably start with the simple ones first.
Mm.
Things that we've got a few ideas. I don't want to talk about them yet because they're not finished. They're probably going to change, but
Mm.
they're
Yeah.
for the budget. It should be pretty effective, like like a nice story. Like we won't have to do a lot of things. I don't know if I'm making sense, but like it's not going to be overkill,
Yeah.
but it's going to be really nice.
So when it comes to money,
Yeah.
like is income and all that a issue for you to continue with your music career? Because at the time, are you generating any income from your music?
Yeah. So no.
No.
Not generating income from music. I can generate income more doing those other things that I mentioned.
Mm.
And for a lot of people, like 4,000 is a lot of money. It's a lot of money for me, like to be working those jobs, and you know, it takes about 1 or 2 months to put aside that kind of money.
Mm.
But I don't regret any of it. You know, to chuck it at
Obviously.
a good project
Yeah.
and make something great. It's just what you spend money on. There's like money in, money out.
Mm.
Really, like you don't have to make that much money if you're not spending that much money.
Mhm.
Just stay home and go to the gym. I'll always advocate, you know, get a gym membership. If you're bored, go do something active, and then stay home. Food is a big one. This is getting more into like lifestyle and food budgeting, but you don't always have to eat out. You can
Yeah.
become a good cook at home and eat very nicely at home
Exactly.
if you
Yeah.
plan it out. And it's
So
often
would you
healthier.
say?
Yeah.
Oh, sorry, man. So would you say like financial freedom is like one of the things that you should approach before, like, you know, while chasing your dreams?
Yeah, well, that's another big question because I used to be really big into trading stocks and trading currencies, and
Okay.
for that reason, I thought like, I thought that if I could just have enough money, then I'd follow my dream. But that's not really the path of success other people have taken, is it? That's not really
Yeah.
how people have made it. You'll have to go all in at one point or another, um, just put the money aside, and it's just just put it all towards that stuff that you want to do until that can
Generate.
become a snowball that generates it. But
Mm.
I don't know, like I don't know if it'll, because you have to become an expert at to become financially free. Like, what's you're going to be up against? Let's say the path you want to take is opening like a Shopify store or something like that.
Right.
Where you're importing things from Alibaba, you could slap a logo on it, open up a
Yeah, like-
few
Yeah,
eBay,
like
Amazon
dropshipping.
stores. Yeah, there are some people that you're going to be up against that love that stuff as much as you love the thing that you're really trying to do. So
Yeah.
I don't know, like I don't know if that'd work. I don't think I would have made a music video if I was focusing on that angle. But in that sense, like because I've actually done all that stuff before.
Yeah, yeah.
But you learn a lot of skills that you can apply to the business that you're really trying to build. So I've done sponsored ads before for like my new videos. I know how to reach out to brands and try set things up. And I've gotten a few stuff in the mail for like they want me to take a photo of their watch or something like that. That stuff I would have never been able to figure all that little stuff out if it wasn't for the other stuff that I tried to do in the past.
Yeah.
I would just directly invest in the thing that you're trying to do.
But how
you
did?
think-
Oh, sorry, Sander.
Yeah, you go. Yeah, you go. You go.
Okay. How did you get all these people to approach you? Was it because of your video, or like you just mentioned?
Oh, I don't know.
Or did you suddenly
So
come to you?
so the I don't know how they found me.
Mhm.
But they found me.
That's very interesting. Like,
I didn't ask. I didn't ask.
okay.
But if when it comes to people to collaborate with, you most
Mm.
likely will have to reach out.
Mm.
That's what I've always had to do.
But did that happen after your video, or before?
Yeah.
So
It happened after.
would you say that your video was basically the one that, or was the thing the one subject that made it possible that people reached out to you?
So I'll give my answer. Something I used to do was I'd try and make videos and digital work for restaurants
Mhm.
and other small businesses, but mainly restaurants. And part of the strategy was finding influencers to get
Mm.
into their restaurant and promote their restaurant or whatever. So I don't think it was any one piece of content that
Mm.
they found me. They probably, because what I would do is like I would look up a few hashtags and I'd come up with a few profiles. I'd see what kind of things they're posting, how regular and quality of the things that they're doing. It'd just be a holistic thing, I think.
Yeah.
So they probably came across my profile, and I'm sure they did this to a bunch of other people, but they would say, yeah, this one's fine. and
Okay.
Move ahead that way.
Sander, do you remember your question?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. So, bro, do you reckon generating different streams of income can help support your music career?
Yeah, man, definitely. So, let's talk about music. So, you can get on YouTube. So,
Okay.
if you put up a video on YouTube, you could use a bunch of you'll be using like a microphone, maybe a guitar, and then you could have like affiliate links in the description, right? And that could be one. That could be one income stream. Turn on ads on your YouTube videos. That's another income stream. You've got, let's say, if you've got merch, you could, or like one day or something online that people can buy. Maybe it's like a digital product or a physical product. That could be something that you're selling as well.
Yeah.
Run some ads so that more people find those products. Then you've got your streams from your songs, and I see myself eventually building like a business that way, and that'd be where the
yeah.
income is coming from. So that's
Are
all.
you- are
That's all.
you
something-
working?
Yeah.
Oh, sorry, bro. Are you working towards that at the moment?
not really, not really. But
but is
I
that
do see
something that you
myself
want to
doing
work
that.
towards?
Yeah,
Yeah. Okay.
yeah,
That's good, Ben. 100%
yeah.
support you, bro.
At the moment, it's just putting out things that people will enjoy watching.
Mm.
But I should probably get even more practical and put all those things together. But those are the kinds of things that are available to people that are trying to make music their thing.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah.
Well,
What about in terms of traffic, bro? Like, as in, like, yeah, like, do you know what I mean by traffic, right?
Yeah.
Like getting your audiences. Like, where would you go about like getting traffic, or do you just leave traffic to the internet, or like, you like, do you get what I mean?
Yeah. So that's a question that is answered from that video course that I was talking about a while ago by Think Media. Maybe someone wants to check them
Media.
out. They're very Think Media. They're very helpful. Um, so if you want views, the algorithm needs to be nice to you, and you got to post good stuff regularly, and that's the biggest thing.
Okay.
And then share it and tweak it and get better with everything you put out. I don't think
Do you
it's more
think
complicated than that.
uh another question, bro? Do you think you'll be open to working with other people that are interested in contributing to your, like, the success of your career, like music career?
Well, I think that's inevitable, right? Like even independent artists can't do everything by themselves.
mm,
At the end of the day, someone has to hold the camera, right? Like you gotta you gotta work with people.
yeah.
And musically, like for this EP that I want to put together, I don't think I'm gonna do everything by myself. I'm probably gonna spend a lot more on it, so I could like get, you know, quality people contributing their skills and their experience to the project. I could play the piano, but why not, you know, send a demo
Yeah,
to someone that's been just playing the piano for their whole lives or something like that. I think that'd be really
that's
cool.
true.
Um, yeah, and maybe even when it's time to market it, I could probably outsource that as well. I think that's like a really that just doesn't apply to music. That's really anyone that's trying to build a business, like delegate and outsource and spot talent
Yeah.
and get them on board. And yeah,
Yeah. So when you say you pursue music, right? Do you have like an ulterior goal, like motive, in terms of like your like fan base? Like, um, so say for example, like it's not just about sharing your music out there and like your passion, but also like I don't know how to explain this, bro, but like kind of like motivate other musicians to do the same thing. Like, do you get what I mean?
yeah, yeah. Especially people from my community. Like, there's a lot of people I know who are a bit younger, a bit older, but I know that they're still like they have to struggle with the same things that I did, and the I'm meeting new people from different communities who I would have never thought, but that they also had to struggle with the same stuff that I like, really similar stuff, and like the same arguments that I heard, like from my parents, for example, they'd hear, and I ran away. Yeah, they ran away too. And if they could like learn about me and see that I can still put in some sort of I could still make something happen for myself, and there's no reason why it can't happen for anyone else. And for it not just to be about myself, but this is like way down the track, but by that time I would have built like a framework, right? A network. I'd have like a space where I could record people. It could turn into like a bit of a label thing and provide opportunities for people, like
Yeah,
not just
right.
singers, but like
Yeah,
anyone that works in that field.
yeah. So just one more question. Do you think that like personal growth has a very big impact on like creating the mindset to be successful?
Yeah, you can't just, you know, yeah, you have to improve yourself, like habits wise, especially habits
Right,
wise.
right. Yeah.
It's something like I for a while I'd get up at 5 a.m. and go for runs, right? Because I felt like that's what successful people did. Jeff Bezos does it, Elon Musk does it. I got to do it too.
Yeah.
Just get up go for runs.
Yeah, yeah,
And I did it for a while and I felt great, but I didn't really get closer to my actual goals because I was tired the whole time. And
right,
then
yeah.
I'd look at what someone else does, and they wake up at like 5 6 p.m. every night, but they're putting out a lot of stuff. And when like I watch their stories and stuff, and they'll talk about how they just couldn't sleep because they were working at their stuff for that long. Um, I don't
Yeah.
recommend anyone does that, but to answer your question, like you do have to like cut out the bad habits, whatever. Like for me, a big thing was smoking, right?
Right.
Cigarettes and weed, like those were just not good for me. They didn't make me feel good about myself. I wasn't motivated, didn't feel energetic at all to do anything, so I cut those things out, which was pretty hard for me to do. Um, but yeah, I definitely like focus on bettering yourself to become the kind of person you need to be to do all that stuff.
So it's pretty much a matter of change. Is that right? Because from what I've learned, doing the same thing over and over again gives you the same results, right? Unless you actually
Yeah.
change.
Yeah. Yeah, well, except when it comes to persistence. I mean, like, let's say you'll be putting a video out every week. That's the same thing
Right,
over
yeah.
and over again. But you should stay that way
Mm.
and do that stuff. But if all your days are looking the same and nothing's coming out of it,
Yeah,
then
yeah,
there's not going to be that snowball effect that you're waiting for. It's
yeah, 100%, yeah.
nothing's going to happen.
So you mentioned at the beginning of this podcast that you are a person that has a lot of up and downs, right? Like you can
Yeah.
be here and then here and like all that. Do you think that's a stone for your career, for what you're trying to do? Do you find yourself like in front of that wall many times and you want to do something, like let's say today you say, oh, I'm gonna do this and I'm gonna be working on this, and then tomorrow, for example, you're feeling like shit. Do you let that mood affect your plans?
So I feel like those bad days happen less when I plan the day. Like
Okay.
it might sound like pretty. I mean, we always used to get up for school, right? 8 a.m. every day, 5 days a week, no issues. And I feel like that's because there was a plan. Like you knew what classes you were going to go to the next day. You knew when your bus was going to be. There was that routine. If you're working a 9 to 5, like you would always go and get that stuff done. So I'd I'd say for me to not have those bad days ruin my whole day, to plan the day in advance, and even doesn't really matter what time you're getting up. I don't think if it works for you, it works for you. But get up at that time, and know that all right, I've got to like go to the gym, have breakfast, and then I'm going to start on this project, and maybe take it from there.
So would you say that whenever you make yourself a plan, it's easier for you to do it than when you don't plan anything? Like, is that what you're saying?
Yeah. Yeah.
So you're not like much about doing stuff spontaneously?
No, I don't know. See, I'm conflicted with that answer because a few days ago I've had 3 projects, right, that I was doing at the same time. I had to write a song to a beat. I had to edit someone's cooking video. Don't ask me why I was editing someone's cooking video. It was as payment for something. And the third thing was I was writing one of my songs, like the beat to it, and I was just jumping in and out from all of those things, and it worked. I feel like I got progress on all those things. Probably would have been better to try and focus it all on one thing, but I don't know, because sometimes you run into a block even when you're there doing the work that you're meant to be doing. You just keep, you're not getting anywhere with it.
So what are the topics that can make you have a bad day? Like what can really ruin your day?
Or lots of procrastination, man.
Amen. Aren't we all in the?
Yeah. Uh,
That's true.
I think I think I should delete a few apps off my phone because they're massive time wasters. That's that's actually something I watched a TED talk about. It was it was talking about willpower, right? 'Cause- and they went back to that experiment where they put marshmallows in front of kids and leave the room and tell them, if you don't eat it, we'll come back and we'll give you another marshmallow. And like they found that some kids would distract themselves, like they'll make games and not look at the marshmallow, and other kids would just look at the marshmallow and
Yeah.
just focus on the fact that they can't have the marshmallow. But the takeaway was to like design your life in a way that it's not hard for you to get distracted. So I'd get rid of all the phones, or if you, let's say you want to go on a diet, instead of like having the nice food in the fridge that you have to just always like have it call to you, just get rid of the food. Yeah, so procrastination is the answer to that question.
So
That's
that's
what general
your
idea.
biggest problem, too.
Well, it's also like when you dig deeper, it's really distractions,
Mm.
right? Because you don't want to be alone with your thoughts, or you don't want to.
Mm.
You just want to feel numb
Yeah.
in a way. So you'll just find whatever it is to distract you and binge a whole season of something or something like that. But that's taking you away from your dreams, isn't it?
Well, I find myself that when I push something away, it's because I'm scared. And like I had
Yeah.
this for a long time where I was scared of success. So I would push everything away from me that will bring me success. Was that also a bit of like what you had? Like, like if you do something, it will take you to the next step. And that next step kind of like, I don't know, makes you scared or gives you like bad feelings because success can be scary too. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, I've definitely done a lot of like self-sabotaging things,
Mm.
you know. But at the root of it, I don't know if I was scared of success or if there was something else behind it.
Okay. So, but do you know like why you were like doing self-sabotage? What was the cause? Like what made you want to just sabotage something?
Short-term pleasure over long-term gains.
Mm.
Yeah. That's a big thing with me. And like I'm happy that I've quit a lot of bad stuff out of my
Mm.
life, but there's still the more sinister stuff. It's like things that it might not be bad for your health, but it's bad for your brain.
Brain. Mm.
Yeah. And then you continuously train yourself to, like, even if it's like just checking your emails or your phone or watching YouTube videos, like they're things that you don't have to do a lot of work for to make happy chemicals in your brain go off.
Yeah.
But then that means that when it's time to do the 5-6 hours of editing that you're supposed to do,
Mm.
or whatever it is, there's no quick. You have to put all that work in to get that happiness of one video or one song out, and you need to rewire yourself.
Okay.
I'm talking to myself.
Yeah, bro. So like, are you giving it your 100% at the moment towards your career?
Probably not, man.
Probably not. Do you
Probably
think that
not.
you should start? Okay. Sorry, wrong question. So like, what's stopping you from giving 100% to your career at the moment?
Procrastination.
Like, besides all those, man. Like, is there any major thing that's stopping you from pursuing what you really want? Because I see the fire in there, bro. I see the passion in you, man. But I feel like something's like stopping you at the moment.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Well,
it's
he
true,
did
though.
already mention. He mentioned before he's going through something right now. That's why he's probably taking a bit of a
Yeah,
a bit of a
yeah,
break.
yeah, I don't, yeah. But is there like anything bigger than that, or like, or is that it?
My blue light just died. 1 second.
It's like I'm gonna run away from this question. My blue light.
Sorry, my ceiling is falling off. Be
Sorry.
right back.
Uh-huh.
Oh, so cute.
That's fine.
Welcome back.
Didn't need it anyway.
Welcome back.
Yeah. Um. Honestly, it's just I guess when it gets down to it, it's all in my head, right?
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that was the end of the answer.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. It's
Don't need to get into detail, PK.
Yeah, like if
I
you don't
already
feel
understand.
comfortable,
Yeah,
we can
yeah.
That's
drop
okay.
like really. We have more questions here, so don't worry.
Yeah.
So do you have some musician friends that supports you, and how do they support you?
Yep. So this can be my musician friend Karim. He's a
I just realized what it was. No.
this is
crazy.
actually an ancient Egyptian deity, but we'll call him Karim.
Yeah, just show the back.
She said it back.
And we've got another guy as well, but we won't comment on which.
We won't comment on his front.
I like how you
Yeah,
put
welcome.
yourself out of situation.
I was
Remember how
saving
I
him.
told you
for-
it's spontaneous, Jojo? Welcome to PK's spontaneousness.
Yeah.
So you said you got Karim, who else?
There's Karim.
Chief.
There's
No, not me.
Chi-
I'm not music.
Chief isn't really in the music sphere.
I'm not, exactly.
No, we're talking
I've
about
got someone
musician
called-
friends.
Exactly,
Ah.
yeah.
Chief
Joey.
can sing, switch things.
Oh, yeah, Joey.
Joey. There's Nada. Nada's great. I'm gonna hopefully work with her soon, or maybe not. See how it goes. Freaking! I grew up with a friend from school called Mark. Me and him would always do music stuff together.
Oh, Mark that plays the guitar?
Yeah.
Yeah, I know which one you're talking about.
Yeah, like it's always the people for me that I grew up with that are still going at it that I find inspirational. There's also someone I met like a few years ago on a cruise ship, Louis. He's like same age, still doing gigs.
Oh, that's crazy, man.
Yeah.
All right, I think I'm gonna go with the last question, and then we're gonna like
Yeah.
slowly close it here. So, what is the best advice you've been giving throughout your career or pursuing your dream? Like the best advice you
Ooh.
ever got?
Got to think about that. All right, so this is something really practical. I went to a seminar where this is something I still use all the time. So it was a producer, right? This producer was giving a seminar. He had worked with a bunch of artists like Michael Jackson and Shakira and like people from all sorts of you know, sides of the music industry. And I asked him a question because as a vocalist, I'd need to work with producers a lot of the time. And sometimes I'm not a very good, at that time, still not a very good producer. So I'd ask him, like, how do you, let's say you need to collaborate with someone, like, how do you tell them how to do the thing that you want? Like, how do you tell them, you know, this is what I want, I'd like it to be that way? And he said it's important to use a reference, right? So instead of trying to explain it, just show him or her like a different project or a different song that's kind of what you want,
Mm.
and then they can make that happen. And it's not just in music that I've used that. Like whenever I'm working on a project and I'd want someone to do something a specific way, instead of trying to use my words, which might paint the picture only so far, just show them a finished product from somewhere else. That's like someone else has finished it, and pick the bit out that you want them to focus on, and use that as a reference. And you can get pretty far doing that.
Okay. So the best advice that he gave you was like use a reference whenever you want to
Yeah.
have something from someone.
You could kind of you can expand it, and it comes down to reverse engineering
Mm.
something, right? Like start with the end in mind and
Yeah.
work your way there.
Yeah.
And that's kind of how I think about a lot of things. Like if
Okay.
I'd rarely start something and not have like a vision of where it's gonna go
Mm.
at the end.
So at the beginning when we started, I said to you that yeah, you were hanging with us and gaming, and you said that was kind of like a way to chill, relax, and all that.
Yeah.
And I haven't really seen you much around for gaming, so I bet your new chill is what? What do you do nowadays when you want to like relax and just shut down and just be? What are the stuff that you like doing to recharge yourself?
Oh, good one.
Thoughts?
I do a lot of sleeping. Sleeping. PUBG Mobile. That's a fun game.
No.
Oh
way.
yeah, he's actually good at it.
Yeah.
I saw
That's
him play
crazy.
it.
No,
Uh,
you play PUBG Mobile. No way, PK.
I don't have a
It's
I don't have a
good.
PC, so it's because I don't want to have to like power on my whole computer and stuff. I don't have a computer, so
Mm,
just off my phone, play a bit of game with a friend in the
yeah.
car. Pull somewhere that's like really sketchy and just jump on the PUBG Mobile.
Hell yeah.
So those are the stuff.
Drinking
Drinking. So what's your favorite drink?
scotch,
Oh.
Oh yeah, the whiskey.
scotch,
Oh, I wish I could.
Just like Simon, bro.
man. Just a little bit. Don't worry about it.
Okay.
He has
so,
coconut. I don't.
So you will say like sleeping, like scotch, and PUBG Mobile is kind of like your time.
All
to...
in the one.
I don't want to get into it, but anime as well. Like, I've stopped because it can get very addictive. But
Really?
when I start one that I
I
like,
don't know how
Oh, yeah.
people
When I-
can get addicted to that.
Anime is
When I s-
amazing.
when I start a show that I like, I can't put it down.
Oh, okay.
I'll finish it.
Yeah, I
I'll
feel
finish it.
you. I don't have that with
I want-
anime, but I have it with like Netflix and other
Like,
shows.
just watch watch 2 seasons today and 2 seasons tomorrow, Paul. No,
No, you have to. Yeah.
All now.
until my eyes are like falling out of my eyeballs, like sockets. Just I'll watch it until there's nothing left to do.
So Shamatata
What i-
is asking, what's your favorite anime?
Well, the answer I always give is Your Name. That movie. I reckon that's like masterpiece.
Okay.
I haven't seen your
Yeah.
name. I gotta say that. I only know
Got me in the field.
Your Lie in Arab. Your Lie in April was good. But I don't see your name.
Yeah. What else did I watch recently off Netflix that I couldn't stop watching until I finished it?
Is it a fighting one? Is it Baki?
Yeah. Oh, that was a really good one as well. And I have to find it, otherwise I'm not gonna be able to sleep. It was like a. It was, they had to overthrow an evil emperor or something like that.
Okay.
There's a few anime like that, so I can't
Yeah, I'm sure.
remember.
I have no idea of anime, so I can't.
Was it like Final Space?
Really? I can't really say much to it. But
I'm probably gonna waste so much time looking for this. Probably should stop.
Let's go from anime. What about games? What are your top 3 games?
Yeah.
I'm gonna stop looking for it. Top 3 games. Huh? I like my first-person shooters, man. Third-person shooters too. I'd say PUBG's up there.
Yeah.
PUBG's up there. It's like
Uh,
I really like PUBG. Chess.
oh,
I like me some
nice.
chess.
Yeah.
Um,
I've been seeing a few people here play chess, like Dre and Dice.
Yeah, they've been
Yeah.
streaming it
Yeah.
lately, right? Too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
mm,
Yeah.
I'm probably not on their level, but I'm alright.
We'll see.
No.
No, you're
Can't play
pretty
chess
good.
at all, bro.
No, you play. You're good.
And then there's. Am I just gonna say RuneScape? I think I'm gonna say RuneScape, even though I haven't played it in ages. That's like a childhood nostalgia
Yeah.
game.
Yeah,
Oh,
OG game.
that's cool. Do you like poker? By the way.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Oh man, back when I used to have a gambling addiction, man. Oh, I was at the Star. That's the big casino in Sydney. Star, like almost
Yeah.
twice, 3 times a week. Boom, boom, boom.
With
Making the
poker
worst decisions
or
of my life. Yeah, poker.
yeah, I freaking love poker. I really love it.
Yeah. Used to bring a poker set, go to the park, get some mates, and just play poker together.
That's
Mm.
nice.
Or swing past his, got some mates, play poker together.
I wish I could be in Sydney to just suggest, hey, let's go to a park and play some poker.
Oh man,
That'd
Judge, if
be-
you're
I'm
in
sure there's a
Sydney,
way we
there
could
was
do
so
that
much
online.
fun we could have
Oh,
had.
we have a game online that we've been playing, right, Chief? We've been playing poker online.
Yeah, poker online. It's
Yeah.
called Prominence Poker. It's
Yeah,
free.
it's
people. You
free,
could
yeah.
get it.
Yeah.
And
And Jojo has too much money on it, so we need to rob her.
we should do it so like could we see each other's faces while we play it though? 'Cause I
No,
feel like that's a big part of it.
no, there is.
No, we
like-
just jump in voice chat and then we
Yeah.
play poker.
Yeah, but that'd be cool. Like that'd be cool. Like to have like camera and like see people's react.
Well,
'Cause I-
technically, you could do a private call like this.
Yeah,
and
we
then play
actually,
poker. That
yeah, we could
works.
play, yeah. But I don't know. I think like part of poker is like just reading people's face. That's like basically where it gets. But I love poker. Like, oof, yeah.
Have you ever like lost or made real money on poker?
I don't dare to go to that because I have a really addictive personality.
It's a wise choice.
So knowing myself, I've been I remember me telling my boyfriends like, hey babe, do you know a page where I could like play and just for real money? He's like, you don't want to do that. I'm like, why? It's like, you don't want to try it out. And yeah, he knows me.
I've tried it.
I know myself. I have a really addictive personality. So I'm pretty sure like if I will go into like a real casino. I only been once in a casino, and I played the roulette. That was about it. Yeah, I did win some money. It was good. It was fun, but I don't think I will. I want to even taste it because I will probably just end up having a big addiction.
Yeah, they do it.
And I think the moment you start making money, like that's the tricky part, right? Like if you win at the beginning, that's kind of like a, like an invitation for a big loss. So
Well, that's what they say. The addiction are the ones that have won, not the ones that have lost. So
okay.
because you tasted that victory, that adrenaline, you try to go for it again. You want to make the extra gain. and
Yeah.
You put a lot more than what you gain.
Yeah. So you
That's a whole nother thing.
that's another topic.
Yeah, we could talk about gambling a lot later. That's a big topic.
All
My
right.
gambling got so bad one time, man.
How,
I think everyone's experienced in some kind of form, whether it's IRL or through a game even. Gambling's out there in many forms.
I think every person has an addiction with something, a behavior, something that is just out there, and I think that's just normal part of being a human is that you just want to put yourself in like a bit of a danger spot. Biggest stop.
Danger spot right there. That's very dangerous.
I have a friend that threw away 10K in a year with gambling.
That's not even as bad as the people have
That's
known.
yeah, I was about to say that's
that's
probably
more.
nothing.
That's
I've heard
more.
of like
More.
big.
That's times 5, times 10 that.
How about betting? Betting money like on games or like sports and
That's still gambling. Like I said, comes in many forms.
yeah. But do you
Oh,
also
but you can learn about the games and improve your chances, can't you?
Oh, you buy a key and maybe you'll get a rare item from the box. It's still a form of,
okay.
like I said, many forms. I remember my work came up to me. My boss is a bit of a elderly woman. She's like, do you want to give a talk about like modern age gambling with games that are people, may not consider it to be gambling? And I'm like, you don't understand how much of a can of worms you're about to open here.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, I could, but it'll take a while. And then eventually she just didn't come back to me. I'm like, all right, good.
Yeah. Yeah, that
I
could
got-
be a good topic, like to open up the whole gambling, gaming, all that can like that you think is an escape and it can turn into like a I don't know, something bad for many people too. I bet there is a lot. Like to the point of isolation where you just don't want to do anything else than just game and
Maybe we could make
That's
it like
me.
addiction.
Yeah.
Because the same way I quit smoking cigarettes was very similar to the way I quit gambling. It's understanding more about addiction, like the effects that those things have on you.
yeah. All right, so we've been here for like a good 2 hours and 18 minutes. So again, I'm gonna say thank you, Pika. Thank you so much for accepting this invitation, and I'm
It's really my pleasure.
very happy that I got to know you because I knew who you were from just, for me, you were just Chief's cousin. I didn't know.
My
Pretty good
PK is
title.
more than
Yeah,
PK is more than Chief's cousin. He's
Take
the
it.
man.
Yeah.
He's the legend.
I like.
Oh man, it's-
I just knew you as Chief's cousin, so it has been a pleasure. Like from the whole community, you're the first person that I've been sitting here that I really didn't know anything about. Like I didn't even know what it was to hold a conversation with. So I really appreciate. Really, thank you so much, and really keep going with what you're doing. You're an amazing person. I already turned a fan. Congratulations on everything on your video, and really just keep it going. Just don't let anything come in front of you. You're amazing, and really, you're awesome.
100%.
It was very nice to get to know you today. Really,
I don't really know what to say other than thank you so much.
no, my pleasure.
Yeah, no problem.
All
Anytime,
of you,
mate.
man. This
Okay.
is a really good chat. I feel like I was
Yeah.
just chatting to a bunch of friends.
Yeah, that's what it was. Well, I'm just gonna take a moment to just end my stream. So I'm gonna just put it on the end here, and I'm gonna find a person to host. Who are we gonna host? Choco Loco. We can go for Choco. All right, guys. Yeah, as an information also for you guys. I am planning another 2 podcasts for the next weeks. But this Friday, I might be going to the cabin. I'm gonna make sure if I can bring all my equipment with me to the summer house. if I can't do that, I'm gonna have to take a break for a few weeks because my parents are coming to Stockholm. I haven't seen them in 2 years, so I want to like have some time with them. But I will definitely announce the next podcast. That's gonna be with Sander as well. Like different topic. You guys will see. And yeah, again, thank you so much, Siri, Krim, all of you hearing on my Twitch chat. I appreciate all of you sitting here listening to us and PK. For those that don't know, this is PK's YouTube channel, so go subscribe to him, support him, like him, give him love, help him grow.
Follow his YouTube and his Instagram
Yeah.
Play.
And
and his Facebook and his TikTok. Everything.
TikTok.
do you have TikTok?
No.
He
Yeah.
does.
Oh, well, I have to check that.
Alright, he doesn't want to advertise. That's okay.
He
That's okay.
doesn't want to. Okay. Well,
Oh,
anyway,
you can. I mean,
you can post the link, whatever you want to promote right now. PK on, like, feel free to use the chat and just put there.
oh my God, really?
Yeah.
Yeah, babe. Put it in.
Chat rules. No damaging terms. Damn it.
Just I think someone needs to give permission to PK. Oh, but
That's
if
fine,
not,
don't
I
worry,
will
don't worry, don't
upload
worry.
this on YouTube as well, so I can put all your social media and all on the description, like on YouTube, so people can also click and check you out. Where's the only cream? Okay. Again, thank you so much, guys. I appreciate all of you, and really thank you for sitting here with us. It was a pleasure. I love all of you, and really thank you so much for being here. And I should see you all soon. Bye.